Greetings, this is William Jackson, and I want to welcome you to My Quest to Teach podcast, where I talk about educational issues, STEM, STEAM, social media issues, family-related issues, just about anything that has an influence or has a connection with education and technology. Today's podcast, what I wanted to focus on is a serious subject, bullying and cyberbullying. I've had the opportunity to present or speak at several recent conferences here in Florida in the issue of bullying and cyberbullying, and I wanted to share a blog with you during this session of My Quest to Teach. Just to let you know a little bit, there were a couple of workshops and summits that I participated in. One was the Hip Hop Summit in Orlando, Florida, which was attended by between 500 and 600 young men, and the focus was to encourage them and inspire them and engage them in discussion about the process of maturing and growing up and things that they need to be aware of, how important education is, resources in the community for them, and my area was cyberbullying and bullying, where we had a great discussion, about an hour discussing bullying and cyberbullying, and also the area of self-esteem as well. There was also a conference in Palm Coast, Florida, that I had a great opportunity to participate in, which was the African American Methodist Episcopal Church. They had a conference, a youth development and leadership conference in Palm Coast, and the attendance was wonderful. The young people were very well mannered, they were very attentive, and we had a great time talking about social media and how to positively use social media, how to market and brand yourself with social media, and also the dangers of sexting and texting and bullying and cyberbullying. So those inspirations helped me to write this current blog entitled Parents Can Prevent Bullying and Cyberbullying. And the emphasis here again is I've mentioned in several blogs and several podcasts, is the communication with parents and their children. During our day-to-day activities, there's so much going on with work and taking care of a home and the responsibilities of a parent, just trying to make ends meet in some cases and keeping up with their children as far as school and doing positive things at home and in the community. And one of the other things that are, unfortunately, it seems to be growing and a growing issue is bullying and cyberbullying, not just in our schools, but in our communities, in our churches in some cases, in higher education as well, but in our public schools, and even in some cases we're finding in our private schools and sometimes in our charter schools, in various educational environments. There's a growing issue with bullying. One of the additional unfortunate things is the news media has picked up on how bullying and cyberbullying and harassing and violence has perpetuated fear and a sense of unsafe, feeling of being unsafe in schools for our youth in the school environment. And unfortunately, a lot of youth don't talk to their parents and don't talk to teachers or administrators about what's going on in school and bullying, because they are under the impression that nobody can do anything about it, nobody wants to do anything about it, nobody can do anything about it. So I want to share information that can encourage youth and can encourage parents, and also encourage teachers and administrators to be aware of what's going on in the educational environment as far as bullying and cyberbullying. Here in Florida, several laws have been passed, and other states' laws have been passed as well to help youth deal with the issue of bullying. Several of them directly relate to if there is a perceived issue of bullying. By law, teachers and educators must report it so that it is investigated, so that if possible, child services need to be brought in or counseling services need to be brought in to address the issue, and if necessary, law enforcement needs to be brought in to also investigate issues of bullying and cyberbullying. Nationally, unfortunately, there have been cases where young people have attempted suicide and committed suicide because they were either directly bullied physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and by cyberbullying through social media that the tragic events of kids committing suicide is bringing more attention to this issue as well. So this blog, Parents Can Prevent Bullying, is just a resource to encourage parents and to empower parents with information. And it starts because of this summer. There are a lot of activities and events and things that are going on, and parents, because they still have their work schedule, they still have their responsibilities in the home and outside the home, they don't have a lot of opportunities to be engaged with their children, and unfortunately this opens up avenues where bullying and cyberbullying may happen. As millions of students across the country are being released for summer vacation, the opportunities for bullying and cyberbullying increases. The dynamics of the family structure are changing. Parents are working either full-time, longer hours, a full-time and a part-time job. These hours away from children are sometimes where there is a lack of parental guidance and monitoring. This opens doors for the use and abuse of social media platforms by youth, teens, and young adults that are in the home. Many school-age youth are using social media more to stay in contact with friends, to stay connected. Children are very social creatures and interactive in their sharing of personal information. Being social creatures is not a new thing or a new concept. Humans are the most social creatures on earth. Writings from Leakey from 1978 have stated that the emerging human mind now evolved to fit its cultural niche, to survive as a social creature. Technology contributes to these social interactions, and parents must monitor their children. The chances for bullying are not diminished over summer break. In fact, they can actually grow because many students have their own smartphones, they have their own tablets, and they have their own handheld digital devices to connect to the internet. Even video gaming platforms connect to social media sites, and parents are not readily available to provide guidance nor monitoring. University of North Florida psychologist Dr. Lauren Yerkes says bullying cases have gone up 5% last year. Several students reportedly attempted and committed suicide because of alleged bullying and cyberbullying at school. The seriousness of cyberbullying nationwide can be seen in the growing numbers of youth and teens attempting and committing suicide because of consistent taunting, harassment, and demeaning character destruction or character assassination. When youth and teens feel isolated, rejected, and turned away, it derails the emotional and psychological stability of the mind. Young people are social creatures, as we all know. Their lives are built around their friends and activities that provide a foundation of social growth, social interactivity, and establishes a place of existence in life. Recent studies have shown that who's sharing what and why online, have shown that it's becoming a form of seamless integration with users' lives. That means more and more children have integrated social media into their lives. So there's not a what if or how can or why should I with the use of social media. It's they use it consistently on a regular basis. In continuation, technology is not just made of electronic connections. It has an overwhelming human and personal connectivity. That connectivity can be seen as positive in nature or have destructive consequences. Florida Governor Rick Scott has addressed several issues related to schools. Bills take on cyberbullying, the expansion of its definition. The House Bill 609 expands the school's authority on how to take action for cyberbullying, expanding the definition of bullying and harassment. There are many perceptions of bullying and cyberbullying. Consistent definitions are important to address how to deal with issues at school and in the community. Students, as we know, are spontaneous, and when they put things on Facebook, Twitter, or Tumblr, in many cases, it is a spur-of-the-moment impulse. If there are high emotions from anger and embarrassment, there could be threats of physical harm and emotional harm. These new laws help to regulate the more serious aspects of digital bullying and cyberbullying. The actions of bullying create distractions at school that affect the learning environment, resulting in actions that may contribute to transactions or actions dealing with physical violence and emotional conflict. In recent extreme bullying cases, violence is happening, resulting in hospitalization and court actions, as is being seen in recent cases in Jacksonville, Florida, Chicago, Detroit, and other cities across the nation that are dealing with this national issue of bullying. The upcoming school year will see an increase in students using online resources. Many schools are offering wireless access at their school sites, enabling students to use multimedia devices to connect with the internet. Students will have additional access to school networks either through traditional means, through hardwired networks, or wireless. Schools are allowing a BYOD concept, bring your own device, to schools, so teachers must be more aware of potentials of bullying. Too many cases, parents either do not know what their children are doing or how to find out. Parents must be proactive and involved when their children are using online resources. There is not just cyberbullying, but there are many elements on the internet that children should not be involved in and that parents need to be aware of and cautious. There is cyber porn, there is cyber racism, there is cyber stalking, and other dangerous activities to youth and teens. Parents must understand that technology has vast access to information, but so does television. So as with any television program, parents must be aware of what content and information is being shared through that environment. Even the growing case of human trafficking, where social media is used to lure girls and boys into the world of child pornography as sex slaves. This is a real and serious issue in today's society. There are more and more children exposed to this type of content, and cyber stalkers use many tools to entice and encourage children to leave home and meet up with people that claim to be their friends. So parents need to be very aware of who their children, who their teens, and who their young adults are speaking to and communicating with online. Cyberbullying, House Bill 609, will expand the influence of Florida's public schools to investigate and discipline students for cyberbullying conducted through the use of a school computer. Further actions through the assistance of law enforcement can be conducted when a student is cyberbullying from home. So as parents know, when your child is in school, in order to access the school network, a child must have a username and password. And that username and password identifies your child with the school's network. So information from what the child is actually doing online can be monitored and tracked. There are services that are provided for home use as well. So it may be a good idea if parents have young children and preteens and teens that they use some type of software or they work with their internet service provider or ISP to be able to track and block certain types of content. The Florida legislation defines bullying or cyberbullying as harassment through the use of computers, technology, or electronic communication. Family foundations, which is very important, the foundation of a family, the modeling and role modeling of parents for their children. A parental responsibility and accountability to have parents monitor, question, investigate, and in extreme cases, turn off or deny the use of electronic devices for the children or child that is using and or violating certain electronic or digital requirements. In a recent workshop that I conducted for Journey into Womanhood, the workshop I provided dealt with bullying and cyberbullying, and it was just for young ladies from elementary school, middle, and high school, and we had serious discussions on cyberbullying and bullying, and the majority of the young ladies in attendance did state that they were bullied from various degrees of bullying, from name calling to actual physical harassment to actual cyberbullying. And this discussion lasted several hours, and not only was it just a verbal discussion, but the young ladies put on skits as well to show bullying prevention strategies and procedures that they could actually implement in their everyday life and activities at school. In cases where young ladies have been bullied, harassed, cyberbullied, or threatened, recent violent cases of bullying need to be studied and measures created to prevent these continuous actions. One case has legal and ethical considerations. This will change the dynamics of treatment for those being bullied and those doing the bullying. Statements from teens claiming, "I got bullied to the point where I could not handle it anymore." Students being told by administrators and teachers, "I can't do anything." These run the risk of more attempted suicides, the potential of students carrying weapons because they are fearful for their safety. Pro-action is better than no action. In too many cases, the resulting violence that happens is from youth, teens, and young adults being bullied to the point where they feel helpless and powerless. The end results could be deadly for students, teachers, and administrators in schools across the country when young people feel that the only way that they can take control is to lash out to the environment, to try to get back at the individuals that made them feel helpless. So it's very important that administrators and teachers and parents communicate to understand what is going on at the school, what is going on with the young people, what resources are they using, how they are communicating, and to bring in counselors, particularly to help with the training of teachers to understand what's going on as far as social media and how it actually affects the school environment. Teachers do receive a lot of training, administrators do receive a lot of training also, but I think it's time now that they did receive some training in social media to maybe recognize some of the signs and symptoms of students being harassed and bullied by not just the physical aspect of social media, the emotional aspect, but by cyberbullying as well and accessing social media tools. So I hope this has been very helpful. As always, my quest to teach is designed to provide resources and help. This blog is also written in an online version on myquesttoteach.wordpress.com, and there are several resources connected to this blog that provide links to news reports dealing with blogging and strategies to prevent or bullying that prevent bullying, strategies that help parents prevent bullying, to recognize the elements of bullying at home, and for teachers to recognize what may be happening in their classrooms and schools. So I appreciate your attendance and listening to this blog again. And as always, I appreciate any feedback that you can provide, any other areas of focus for my background as a teacher, social media consultant, and blogger. If you have any opportunities to connect with me and just exchange ideas and information, I appreciate it. Thank you.